No BS, here are 9 plot frameworks that you can use to help you write a killer story, all in 10 minutes. Links to additional information for all of these frameworks below, so if you see one that you really like, that really relates to how you break down stories, then go check it out. Like and subscribe for more content just like this. Freytag's Pyramid. Gustav Freytag created this graph in the 1800s, and it's the most basic building blocks of a story. This is likely the first thing that you ever saw regarding plot. It's incredibly basic and not helpful at all when it comes to planning your story out, but all of the points within this pyramid will be present in every single plot framework from here on out. It's best used when first learning about how stories are told, but after that, you can move on to bigger and better things. The hero's journey. A popular framework when it comes to the journey of one main character, often used with the character that plays some chosen one role, but not exclusively tied to that. The hero's journey follows our perspective character, or characters, from their ordinary known world through a journey that takes them out of what is known and into what is unknown. The hero has a call to adventure, a mentor figure, an inciting incident that pushes them out of the known world, tests allies and enemies, they meet the big bad, they go through ordeals and gain rewards, think everything is lost, make sacrifices, a big climax, and a wrap-up. You'll find great examples of the hero's journey all throughout stories like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Wheel of Time, Interstellar, Harry Potter, and more. Usually, if this is a character who is the only one who can save the day, then your story could fit within the hero's journey. This is one of the more detailed and useful plot frameworks when creating a story that has the chosen one trope. The 3-act structure. An extremely common way to break down a story in Western media. A story is broken into 3 acts: the setup, the confrontation, and the resolution. This framework breaks down each act into 3 beats. The setup contains the exposition, inciting incident, and plot point 1, the protagonist's decisive actions following the inciting incident. The confrontation contains the rising action, midpoint, and plot point 2, allowing the character to collect themselves after the midpoint. The midpoint in this 3-act structure usually involves some sort of setback that makes the characters feel dejected. The resolution contains the pre-climax, the climax, and the denouement, where we get closure and finality in the story. The structure is incredibly handy and is pretty ubiquitous when it comes to modern Western storytelling. Dan Harmon's Story Circle. Dan Harmon, creator of Community and Rick and Morty along with other great works, established his own approach to breaking down stories that has roots within that hero's journey. The story circle contains 8 main points of a story broken into order and chaos. The characters will begin in order, dip into chaos through the events of the story, and return back to order. You, need, go, search, find, take, return, and change. An almost minimal way to describe our different plot beats. You establishes the protagonist of the story. Need is when the characters and audience recognize that something must be done. Go is the inciting incident in the beginning of the quest. Search is the collected challenges that the characters face throughout the quest. Find is when the characters see the goal of the quest, the answer to the problems. Take is the sacrifices the characters make to receive the goal of the quest. Return is the journey back to the known world, or from chaos and back to order. Change is the resolution that sees the world or characters altered by the quest. A great alternative way to look at a similar framework to the hero's journey. The 7-point story structure. Presented by Dan Wells and explored thoroughly through his lectures at Brigham Young University found here on YouTube, the 7-point story structure will look similar to the breakdown of the 3-act structure with minor adjustments. The 7 points are: the hook, where the reader experiences what is normal; plot turn 1, the inciting incident; pinch 1, where the situation escalates; midpoint, where the character decides to become proactive in the story instead of reactive; pinch 2, a major setback; plot turn 2, the characters find the key to victory; and resolution, where the conflict is resolved. The 7-point story structure is a good one to have in your back pocket. It's a slightly different way to approach the 3-act story structure, and it may make more sense to how you break down stories. Save the Cat. One of my favorites because it provides plot points with progress percentages. Originally designed as a screenwriting tool by Blake Snyder, Save the Cat has been adapted 100 different ways to different genres and mediums. It still includes 3 acts, separated into 15 total plot beats. Those 15 beats are: opening image, theme stated, setup, catalyst, debate, break into Act 2, B-story, fun and games, midpoint, bad guys close in, all is lost, dark night of the soul, break into Act 3, the finale, and final image. There are different types of Save the Cat, including entire spin-offs that apply the framework specifically to novels and different genres of books. The key here is that Save the Cat has a focus on telling your story with a framework that includes pacing. For example, the setup should happen 10% into your story, the debate should run from 10 to 20%, the B story should be introduced 22% into your story, etc. Choosing a target word goal for your novel can put word counts on each of these plot beats, which is what I find the most useful. The Snowflake Method. This plot framework ditches the plot beats and helps you work from a single idea to a fully developed plot. Summarizing your entire idea for your book, write one sentence that encompasses what you want your story to be. This one sentence summary should be catchy, draw attention, and appeal to your audience. Then take your one sentence and extrapolate that into a paragraph, 4 to 5 sentences. This paragraph should still contain the themes and appeal that your one sentence summary had, but should include major events, themes, a beginning, and an end. These are the bones of your story. Now take each sentence from your paragraph and extrapolate that into their own paragraphs. This turns your story idea from 4 to 5 sentences to 20 or more. This should include information on your characters, their challenges, and retain the order of events. If needed, continue this expansion until you feel that your story is fully represented from beginning to end. This is now your guide as you write your novel. The Lester Dent Pulp Formula. A plot framework developed by a highly successful pulp fiction writer of the early 1900s. This plot framework guides you through writing a 6,000-word story with very little wasted space. It splits 6,000 words into 4 sections of 1,500 words. Part 1, A Heap of Trouble, includes the first line, introducing your character and the trouble that they're in. The first paragraph zooms out to include the situation that your character's in and the problem that will be solved by the end of the story. Jump into action, the hero immediately struggling with the problem. Allies and counterparts includes all the supporting characters. Altercation 1 includes a conflict that will escalate into Part 2. Achieve something shows how the hero has made some sort of progress, however little. Finally, Part 1 ends with a plot twist. And remember, this was all in 1,500 words. The next 1,500 is called Part 2, Double the Trouble. You should up the tension, struggle to cope, and include a minor surprise. A second altercation engages the reader and another twist is introduced. Part 3, the next 1,500 words, is called No Way Out. Tension increases dramatically, but then there's a glimmer of hope as the hero gets closer to the villain. A third altercation happens and a dangerous plot twist, something very bad for the hero, makes all hope seem lost. Part 4, the final 1,500 words, is called Escape and Resolution. It includes the last straw, where your hero is kicked while they're down. Escape, where the hero uses their skills to defeat the villain and escape the seemingly impossible situation. Loose ends, where everything is tied up. A final plot twist makes the reader gasp, and the story ends on a punchline, something clever and snappy and full of charm and character. Pulp fiction is long gone, but short stories are alive and well, and this could be a great framework to help you write extremely addictive stories. The Virgin's Promise. Developed by Kim Hudson, this plot framework focuses specifically on the heroine and can be considered as an alternative to the hero's journey. Instead of being so focused on telling the story of a chosen one achieving a quest, this framework focuses on a character challenged by their shadow side, their own internal conflict. This framework includes 13 beats titled Dependent World, Price of Conformity, Opportunity to Shine, Dress the Part, Secret World, No Longer Fits Her World, Caught Shining, Give Up What Kept Her Stuck, Kingdom in Chaos, Wanders the Wilderness, Chooses Her Light, Reordering, and The Kingdom is Brighter. The character in this plot faces outside pressure from the world around them and struggles to fit in that world. The goals of the character do not align with the accepted norm of the world around them. Through the journey of the character, they will eventually debate whether they should be themselves or conform to society's pressures. Eventually, they choose to support themselves, and the kingdom around them readjusts to accept them. If you like this rapid fire video, let me know below. Like and subscribe for more videos and content to help you become a better writer. And as always, thank you for watching.